Ever been disappointed by an intriguing post with no updates or resolution? Think stories with updates and conclusions are a chef's kiss? Well, I'll be posting from r/bestofredditor updates. Hope you're ready because here's part 1. Story reposted by choice_evidence 1983. Status concluded. OP Stranger Danger 4444. Originally posted in CharlotteDobre, YouTube and Am I the Asshole? On November 3rd, 2024, am I the asshole for refusing to let my sister bring her kids to my wedding even though she says it's unfair?
I, 28F, am getting married next month, and I've been planning this wedding for almost a year. My fiancé, 31M, and I both agreed we wanted an adults-only event, mostly because we envisioned a more formal evening. Also, the venue is small and very upscale, not really the best place for young kids to be running around. The problem is my sister, 32F, who has 2 kids, 5 and 7. When I first mentioned the no kids policy, she didn't seem too upset, but as we got closer to the wedding, she started dropping hints about how hard it would be for her to find a sitter. I totally get that it's tough, but I did offer to pay for a local sitter to stay with her kids at her hotel for the night so she could attend the wedding without worrying. Well, she didn't like that suggestion. She says it's unfair because our other sister's wedding 3 years ago was family-friendly and allowed kids. But at the time, our niece and nephew were much younger and quieter. At this age, they're really energetic and love running around, and they tend to get cranky at night, which isn't what I want on my wedding day. It's become a big point of contention. She's now saying that if her kids aren't invited, she's not sure if she'll attend, which honestly hurts a bit. My mom has told me it is our choice, since we are the ones getting married, and I feel like I've been flexible and offered a good solution. But she's making me feel guilty for not bending this rule for family. So, am I the asshole for sticking to the no kids rule and potentially making my sister feel unwelcome? Edit. So, a lot of people have asked if I know the sitter, and I do. She lives in our neighborhood and has sat a lot of our neighbors' kids. She's a very responsible young woman, around 22 to 24, can't remember her exact age. I do of course understand that my sister might not be comfortable leaving the kids to a person she does not know, but I just wanted to offer her a solution. Her husband also has a family who I don't think would have anything against sitting the kids for one night, but I will let her decide if she wants to show. I just hope she does, since I do care about her and would love to have her there. Another reason we don't want kids there is because there is an open bar, and we don't want kids and drunk people around each other. My fiancé's family loves to party with a nice amount of wine and beer. Thank you for all the nice words and advice. I will give an update after the wedding and we will be keeping the no kids rule. But we are thinking about letting kids be there for the ceremony like some people suggested.
Relevant comments.
Not the asshole. When it gets brought up again and it will, sorry you can't make it. Leave it like that. You were kind to offer a local babysitter and it's her decision if she doesn't take you up on it.
Okay, thank you. Thought so too, but just wanted to make sure.
You are not uninviting your sister, she is uninviting herself. Make sure that your mother understands that this is her decision, not yours.
I have made both my parents and other siblings aware of the situation, since she started to complain to them that she can't come because of our rules.
I guess your sister will get to watch video of your wedding after the event. You've been more than cordial and accommodating. At this point, focus on your wedding, not the asshole. You're entitled to have your wedding however you like it. If your sister can't make it because of childcare issues, then that's on her, especially when you've offered a solution, not the asshole. She wants you to bend the rule for family, but it's a wedding. It's all family. So she wants you to bend the rule for everyone, right? Since she essentially RSVP'd that she isn't coming, sorry you can't make it, and invite someone else. If she brings it up again, I thought this was settled, or better yet, I thought this was settled. You aren't coming because you absolutely can't be asked to find a babysitter a year in advance for the most important day of my life. That's not how you're supposed to treat family. Anyway, someone else has been invited in your place, so stop worrying about it.
Part 2, update, February 20th, 2025, 3.5 months later.
Sorry it has taken so long to write the update, to be honest. I totally forgot about my post. Between the wedding, the honeymoon, and the family drama, it just slipped my mind. But better late than never, right? Well, the wedding happened, and let's just say it wasn't without its moments. Buckle up, because this is a ride. So, after the last post, me and my now husband decided to allow kids at the ceremony, but kept the reception adults only. My sister wasn't thrilled, but said she would figure something out. I took that to mean she was actually going to find someone to take the kids after the ceremony. Huh. Cute of me to assume. And it's not like I don't like my nephew and niece. They're adorable and sweet when we babysit them because they know we set rules. But when my sister is there, they don't listen to anything because she and her husband let them do whatever they want. The ceremony was beautiful. My niece and nephew had their iPads, so they were still and well behaved, and for a moment I thought everything would go smoothly. How naive I was. After the ceremony, me and my newlywed husband stayed to take some more photos, and then we moved to the reception. Guests were already mingling, drinks were being poured, and I was feeling great. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw my sister, her husband, and the kids. I thought she was just waiting for someone to come pick them up and didn't think much of it. Then, about 20 minutes later, my nephew bolted across the room and in between tables, nearly colliding with my stepfather. I looked at my maid of honor, and we both walked over to my sister. Keeping my voice low, I reminded her that the reception was adults only. She sighed dramatically like I was personally ruining her life and said, "We couldn't find a sitter last minute, so we'll just keep them for a little while." No. I calmly told her that I had given her multiple options, including a fully vetted, well-recommended sitter and her own in-laws, but she said no thanks to the sitter and apparently didn't ask her in-laws. She just shrugged and said, "Well, we're already here and they're behaving fine." At that exact moment, glass shattered, my heart dropped, the entire room went dead silent. I looked around trying to figure out what happened, and saw my aunt, God bless her, I love her so much, lifting my nephew and handing him over to my stepdad. He was fortunately okay, he didn't step in any glass, because my lovely aunt was close enough to control the situation. My dad and husband cleaned all the glass up. Apparently my nephew had been crawling under the tables and must have pulled the tablecloth by accident, making a plate and a few glasses fall and shatter. Thankfully, nobody got hurt and the glass got cleaned up. My maid of honor helped find some new glasses and a plate. And when the chaos was taken care of, I went back to my sister and told her she needed to get the kids home. Now. And she lost her mind. My sister started yelling. She said stuff like, "I can't believe you're choosing a stupid rule over your own family. You're being a total bridezilla, and you're literally kicking out your own niece and nephew like they're stray dogs." At this point, people were staring. My husband came over to back me up, and my sister's husband came to calm her down. She said she couldn't drive them home since she had already had something to drink. My brother-in-law, her husband, said he would drive them to his parents' place. She got even more mad and said that she couldn't leave her kids just to be at a wedding. My mom then told her that she could leave too then. My sister stormed out while muttering about how I was selfish and heartless. Her husband just stood there looking so embarrassed before awkwardly getting their kids, apologizing to me and my husband, and then following her out. The rest of the night went really nice. We had so much fun and it was just a genuinely good night. My husband and I took a taxi to our hotel around 3. The party didn't end till around 5 or 6, but we were tired and just decided it was enough for us. We fell asleep right away, and it was honestly the best sleep ever. I thought the drama was over, but nah, that would be too boring, right? Honestly, I wouldn't mind some boring moments. The next morning, I say morning, but it was after 1 p.m., we were both pretty hungover and decided to just order some pizza since we didn't want to go down to eat with a whole lot of people in the cafe down in the hotel restaurant. I checked my phone while he ordered pizza and saw my mom had written me to not pay attention to the post, she would take care of it. I was so confused and didn't know what she was talking about, but then I saw my sister's post on Facebook. My sister had posted a full-on rant about how I humiliated her in front of everyone and made her choose between her kids and her family. She claimed I was targeting her for having a fancy wedding and excluding her kids, and she heavily implied that I had disinvited her because I hated being an aunt and hated her kids. Some of our distant relatives who weren't even at the wedding started calling me out. One of my cousins commented, "Wow, some people take weddings way too seriously. It's just one night." Luckily, my God-sent mom and dad were not having it. They had both jumped into the comments to set the record straight, saying I had given her plenty of options and she was fully aware of the rule months in advance. I literally offered to pay for a sitter that she refused to use. I didn't want to get into it and just turned off the phone. A few days after the wedding, my sister's husband called me to apologize. He admitted that he had begged my sister to either accept my offer of a sitter or leave the kids with his parents, but she refused because she thought I'd cave at the last minute. He was mortified by how she acted and told me he had no idea she was going to make a scene like that. Apparently, they got into a huge fight about it afterward because he was embarrassed that she made a huge scene. I didn't really say much. We had planned our honeymoon to be from the 3rd of January till the 12th of January so that we could hold Christmas and New Year's with our families. And, the temperature is better in January for a skiing trip. We held Christmas at my husband's parents', and it was really nice. We then spent New Year's with some of our friends. My sister did not speak to me at all since the wedding. She did take down the post, though. We went on our honeymoon, and it was so much fun. We both snowboard, though on totally different skill levels, him being just a tiny bit better. My sister called to apologize during the trip, but it really just ended up with her belittling me for kicking her out of the wedding. So, that's fun, I guess. Do I regret kicking her out? Absolutely not. My wedding was so much better after she left. No drama, just a perfect night with the people who I love. Am I mad about the Facebook post? Not really. My mom and dad dragged her so hard in the comments that she eventually deleted it. Am I still talking to my sister? Barely. She has yet to actually apologize and still acts like I was the unreasonable one. At this point, I'm just letting her stew in her own bad decisions. So yeah.
Top comments.
I know people like your sister exist, but it still confuses me why they think they're always right. I'm glad your parents have your back. I hope your sister's kids grow up well. Considering from what you said, they get very little discipline. Enjoy your married life, and may you always be as much in love as you are right now. The audacity! She's got a real nerve bringing the kids and expecting you to cave under pressure. It's brilliant that your parents called her out for her post on social media. She's just unbelievably entitled. She should be ashamed. Given that their mom has no concept of boundaries and lets them get away with murder, I'm sure the Nibblings will have nice parole officers when they're older.
What an amazing story. Part 1 was filled with the perfect setup of what we all knew was coming. Op offered her sister many legit options for childcare, including paying for it. I can understand not wanting a sitter you don't personally know. However, she didn't seem to have any reasonable objections to her in-laws taking them for the night. If there was an issue, there she should have told her sister privately. She was given months to find suitable arrangements and didn't. Op even lifted the ceremony restrictions, which is not something I think needed to be done. But it was a nice goodwill gesture. I agree with the comments giving this Op not the ashhole, as well as the comments saying she was uninviting herself, not Op. Part 2 brought the drama and entitlement because of course she didn't have a sitter. Too many of these stories foreshadow this behavior. When her son caused a scene with the glass with the perfectly timed comment is stupendous. I was expecting it to be the wedding cake, to be honest. Her husband dropping the bomb that his parents were an option, and she thought Op would cave would warrant immediate low contact to no contact for a cooling off period. Overall, I'm glad most of the wedding went well and that Op's parents had her back on the Facebook post. Too many of these stories tend to not involve setting people right with correct info. So, I'm glad that happened.
Thanks for joining me today. I'm glad we got to enjoy this ride together. Comment if you have any suggestions, similar experiences, takes, or stories on this situation. Subscribe and like if you're interested and looking forward to our next updated story.